So how does it work with the solicitor if you're deal sourcing, i.e. packaging on deals, i.e. selling deals to other people? I'm doing a series of questions. It's all the questions you guys have asked me. We've got a long list of them, guys, because there's a lot to know in property, and it's important that you get it right, isn't it? Right, let's talk it through, because you probably know we were a deal packager for about 5 years. We did 217 deals. As you can expect, I was the biggest buyer of those deals, so that's how I built my property portfolio, by packaging on deals to other people, by taking a fee. We charged 5%, so if we sold a deal that was costing 200 grand, then we would get 10 grand, and often you get paid within weeks, which is a brilliant way to deal package. And so having done, we were doing roughly between 48 and 53 a year, so having done that many, I kind of know the ups and downs of deal packaging, because we're one of the biggest deal packaging companies in the country. So how does it work with your solicitor? Well, first off, change your mentality a bit and realize that you're not kind of an individual person anymore. You're providing a service. And so have a look at what the banks do, and the mortgage companies and the bridging companies, and often they provide a panel of solicitors. Sometimes they just say you've got to work with that solicitor, and then you have to pay for it. You pay for their solicitor as well as your own solicitor. And sometimes they provide a panel and you can choose which panel to go to. Now, for you as a deal packager, I would 100% say you need a panel. And the reason for that is solicitors are not normally used to working at the speed that you need to work at as a deal packager. So quite bluntly, you're going to burn some of them out, because they're like, well, we want to go slow. We want to take 3 months to buy a deal. And you're like, no, I want to take 6 weeks. I want to do 8 weeks latest, because quite frankly, you want your investor to get the deal. The whole time a deal is not being bought, it is at risk, at jeopardy of you losing the deal, the investor losing the deal, and somebody else coming in and gazumping you and buying it, or the vendor changing their mind. So as soon as you've got a deal, you want it like booked, bagged, bought, sold, gone, So everybody's agreed, let's do it, before anybody gets a second change your mind. But also you just don't want it to last that long, so you're going to be applying and pushing some pressure onto your solicitors. So first off, accept that there's a life cycle with solicitors, and you may have some solicitors you only do 2 or 3 deals with, and you think, you know what, for me that wasn't satisfactory. For you that might have worked. You might be happy running deals every 3 months, dear solicitor, but for me I need it like 6 to 8 weeks. And so having a panel of solicitors means you don't suddenly turn around and go, oh, I've decided not to work with that solicitor anymore, but it turns out I haven't got any other ones. Where are you gone? So I want you to always have a panel of 3 solicitors, and probably you'll end up doing like 50-60% of your work with one solicitor, and then probably 25 and 25 with the other 2 while you're testing them out. We worked, and the other really lovely tip for you is the administration team, the legal clerks and the legal assistants are often the people that do the really great work for you, and then it's signed off by a lawyer. So make sure you're in and you've got amazing legal assistants who will be able to do the majority of the work. That was really one of our main successes. We had an amazing legal exec called Laura, who I loved working with, but she always found a solution for things, and she was utterly magnificent. And her boss used to sign off the deals and obviously make sure the legals were correct, but she did the majority of the work. So sometimes you're not actually working with a solicitor, most of the time you're working with the legal execs. So I want you to have a panel of solicitors. I want you to have set up your deal packaging business, or you want yourself to, for you to succeed, for you to get those 10 grand, 20 grand fees, which obviously you're in it to make that happen. And I want you to have explained to the solicitor, this is how we work. So the investor comes in, we give them a panel of solicitors. They'll need to do the client care pack and sign up as a client of your firm, but I'll help with the administration on that. They'll write a letter, which is obviously one of your templates, that says, I allow that your name to be copied in and all the legal work. I'll be doing the most of the admin and chasing them for the admin. Obviously you are their solicitor, but I'm effectively like their PA, their administrative assistant during this process. So whilst the legal agreement is between your client and the solicitor, not between you and the solicitor, you're making sure your investors, now some of my investors were amazing, some of my investors were terrible at the legal admin. So you're like making sure that all of this goes really, really fast. You're on the phone every single day. So you talk through with the team in advance and you say, look, I've got a really strong group of investors. I'm willing to bring them to your business, and then they can be clients of yours. But this is our process. We want to go fast. How would you work with me on this one? Do you understand the concept of deal packaging, where I find the deal, I sell it on to an investor, and at the point of purchase, the investor transfers not just the exchange money, but also the fee for my bill, and I get paid on exchange. And generally, we submit the bill into the solicitor just exactly like an estate agent does, because your estate agent, if you're selling a property, if you're flipping and you use an estate agent, they will submit their invoice to the solicitor, and the money comes into the your solicitor. They pay the estate agent invoice, and then they give you the balance. So it's just the same. So you submit the bill into the solicitor, and you get paid when the investor exchanges on the deal. So what that means is, of course, that you need to remind the investor, yeah, you need to put your 10% across, but you also need to put the bill across at the same time. Now, I have found, listen, most of my investors were great, don't get me wrong, but I have found a low level of reluctance at times for the investors to do that. But quite frankly, you have a legal contract with them that says I get paid on exchange, and you're not going to enable the deal to proceed until there's that continues. So rather than kind of getting into a headlock, and I never really got into any headlocks with my investors, I just spent the week in advance saying, remember to put your 10% across, because they may or may not be used to buying property, so they may or may not realize that they might have a 10 or a 20 or a 30 grand restriction on their bank account, so they literally might not be able to get the money across in time because they haven't thought about it. But also, here's our invoice, we'll submit it to the solicitor, and remember to put that money across as well. So in a nutshell, 3 sets of solicitors minimum. Be prepared that every 18 months you'll change solicitors because they'll burn out. Some will last longer. Our longest relationship was 7 years. Some will be shorter, like one deal, and you think, oh my goodness, I'm not going to work with you again. Your solicitor actually works with your investor, and they do the client care pack. Your investor signs a letter to allow you to be copied into all the legal work, and quite frankly, you do all the admin. You submit the bill at the point of exchange, and so you get paid on exchange. See how simple it is? Right. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel. We're going to give you loads more brilliant property information. I want you to succeed. Like the video if you think it was a good one. Send it on to somebody else if you think it was super useful to them. And then importantly, have a really good look at my website, thegoodpropertycompany.co.uk, stocked full of brilliant downloadable education for you so you can get going straight away. Take care and good luck.